Hey everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing a reimagined form of the Bionicle set Kalmah, or however you pronounce it. If you don't know what I'm currently doing, I'm doing a series called Barraki Reimagined, where I'm making every Barraki in a cooler form and trying to make them complex and a lot cooler. And so this is the first set that I'm reviewing, Kalmah, in his reimagined form. Now this does not really look like the original set, and I promise the others look more original than him. He's just the first one that I built, and so he looks a little bit different than the others. But I still think he has a pretty cool design. His legs look pretty good to me. They're really filled out. There aren't very many gaps. And I think I should probably actually put 2 studs on those exposed technic holes right there just to make him look a little more complete. I like the use of that Lego slope piece on either side just to slope off the back of his legs. I think that looks really cool. I used all 6 of these armor plates that came in his original set, and I think they look really cool on this MOC. I didn't really know how he was going to turn out when I originally made him. Halfway through the build, I was like, I don't know how this is going. But he wound up looking extremely good, a lot better than I thought he would. I really like all the sloping designs throughout his body. I like the use of those 6.0 beast spikes to slope his armor plates down all the way to his torso. I think that gives him a nice V shape. It kind of makes him look ripped with his biceps being so big and everything. He kind of looks like a small, ripped guy. He's a lot smaller than all of the other MOCs, and so he has to be ripped to stay alive. The other Barraki MOCs are way bigger than him, like a lot bigger, multiple inches. I think the biggest one so far is over 10 inches, and he's about 6, I believe. Actually, real quick, I have a 10-inch MOC, and so I can put them side by side. He's probably about, actually, 7 inches tall, maybe 6. But he's not very big, at least not for my MOCs. The average is at least 8 inches. 10 is usually what I shoot for, just because I like my MOCs to be big and filled out and use a lot of Technic pieces. This MOC is a lot more closed up than most of my MOCs, or at least some of my older MOCs. Everything looks pretty intentional, and he really slopes together well, like with the different Lego sloping pieces that I put, and he looks pretty coherent and a lot more organic than my typical MOC. Now, I know he still has those mechanical designs that I put, like those hub pieces, or dish pieces, I guess, just like right on his knees and on his arms, which those obviously don't look organic, but he still looks more organic than my typical MOC. I really like this Bionicle armor plate piece right there, because that kind of looks organic. This armor plate piece I used, I don't remember which skeleton guy it came from, but it came from a skeleton 2nd gen Bionicle set, which that's a really nice chest plate piece, and I think it really works for this MOC. As you can probably tell, I added these fin pieces to his head. Those weren't on the original set, but I think they make him look a little cooler. I really like his head. This is such a cool head. I love all the Barraki heads. I think they did a really good job in making them look kind of creepy and fish-like. I like his arm design also. I used 2 of his armor plates, one on either side, to complete his arm design. So it closes up his arm pretty nicely, or at least his forearm, which is always a good thing. It really completes the design. And I put spikes on the outside of his arms just to cover up all of those exposed Technic pin connectors, or I mean Technic axle connectors. I didn't do that on the inside of his arm just because I didn't want the spikes to interfere with his body, and I didn't want them to always be falling off. Like, if you pull his arm up, I didn't want a spike to catch on these big domed spiky pieces. I got both of those from Black Phantom from 4.0. I have 2 of that set, so I have 4 of those spiky ball pieces, and I put those on his biceps and on his thighs because I wanted to give him some really big armor plates, and I think those work out in his favor. I think that makes him look really cool and kind of buff also. And I like how his back closes up also. I used a big maroon foot piece just to close up his back, and I think it looks really cool. This MOC only uses 2 wires, 2 black wires, and if you've watched my videos for a while now, you'll know that that is probably a first. I usually use probably about 6 wires at the minimum, so I really just set a record. I just used 2 instead of 6. But I just really like this MOC. I like the use of these 2 big dome armor plates right there. I got those from the 2019 Hulkbuster, I think. Which, that's honestly a very useful piece to have in that color, because maroon is not a super common piece, so I try to get as much of it as I possibly can. I like the bicep design. I think it looks pretty cool. His arms are designed in such a way where they're simple, but they're also good looking. So the best way to design an arm, at least for a small MOC. Simple isn't always better, and in some cases, building more complex is the way to go. But I try not to overcomplicate my MOCs while still making them mostly technic. I really like the use of these maroon Bionicle armor plate pieces. I actually got those from Explode, but those pieces originated in Bionicle. I don't remember what set they came from, but that piece came from the Bionicle franchise, not Hero Factory. But those in maroon did come from Explode, which is a pretty cheap set. So if you're looking for good maroon armor plates, I would definitely recommend checking him out and potentially buying him if you're looking for that armor plate piece. There's not really much else to say about this MOC. I've already kind of covered everything. But he's a pretty cool MOC. I'm really glad to be starting this Barraki Reimagined series. I think it can be really cool, and I think it might just be my next big series after 4.0 Reimagined. 4.0 Reimagined was really my last big MOC series. And so hopefully this one will follow in its footsteps and be viewed and, get a lot of subscribers. Well, that's all I really have to say about him. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll like and subscribe and check out some of my other videos. And stay tuned for the next Barraki review. I hope this series gets a lot of views and hopefully a lot more subscribers. And if it gets a lot of love, I might consider getting Nocturne and doing an ultimate form of him. I'm only planning on doing the 6 Barraki and Spinax for now, but if this series gets a lot of love, then I might consider doing Nocturne.